previous question that we are asking around here, the title of this webinar is called Happy Fish. And it's a concept that we're thinking about with respect to, can fish be happy is ultimately the question that we're wanting to ask as a curious question, across the different RAS systems or net pen operations. That the idea is that we're trying to raise the best fish, the highest quality, to fetch the greatest market value as possible. And so one of the things that we're kind of interested in is, in the world of animal husbandry, it's common to talk about animals as having personality and emotion, and those who raise animals obviously take great pride in growing the highest and best quality animals that they can. So that led us to this really kind of intriguing question, and a bit of a fun one to think about. And the question is, can fish be happy? And specifically, how can you tell if a fish is happy? What do you notice in terms of behavior for happy fish?
Well, on the net pen side of things, it's interesting because we try to describe the outcome of the systems we're building as exactly in those terms, happy fish. With the application of new technologies, that we hear about in everyday life, these, artificial intelligence, machine learning, those are capabilities and technologies that we're building into our systems, and it's literally in terms of happy fish. If to Tim's comment about finding the difficulty in finding personnel and people to raise these animals, there is, for the guys with experience, the men and women with experience growing, raising fish, they can tell. The really good ones, they can tell, and they can tell what makes a happy fish. And everything from, you can witness it, they're picking up so many cues, and reality is they're visual cues, because we're not sharing the environment with them the same way we would be with a terrestrial animal. But there's visual cues, and it has the direction they're swimming, the gasping, whether or not the gill movement, and actually whether or not they're fighting harder to get oxygen. Their feed response, their response to feed, their amount of feed uptake. All of those things they start with a visual response that the operator, the farmer is noticing. But we're applying these new technologies of AI and machine learning to try and teach computers to recognize a happy fish. And because fish respond so quickly to their environment, both through the oxygen, because we don't deal with this in terrestrial farming. Animals that breed air on land, we don't worry about oxygen concentrations. We have to worry about that in the ocean. One of the things we forget, clearly in land-based, but maybe less directly, less obviously in net pen farming, is that in the open ocean, in the wild environment, fish have the ability to move to where they're comfortable. And they can, the concept, and we can't see it, but the concept of looking at one bay and saying, well, this water looks just as good as that water, maybe a mile away. Well, there's a whole lot of other factors that contribute to that water quality. And fishermen, anglers will, how can you catch fish in this hole and you can't catch fish in this hole? And it has a lot to do with that environment and where's the fish going to be happiest. So when we go into an animal husbandry situation where we're not able to let them roam infinitely, we certainly can start to impact their environment to create that happy fish. And applying these technologies like AI and ML to take those visual cues, train the computer so that we can use that as an augmented set of data for the farmer to make the decisions in the end. We believe it does lead to happier fish, and the results are, the corollary to that is healthier fish, fewer mortalities, less disease. All things that they point to a healthier fish, but they're totally in line with the farmer's goals of producing at a greater rate for a lower cost and more efficiently. Those two things are really hand in hand, which is part of the challenge for the industry. You see it in the media. It's kind of incredible to think that oftentimes the comment is not that people aren't putting those two things together. That happy fish and happy farmers are usually like the perfect combination.
That's
And
great, man. Tim, did
quality
you-
of product and all that too. So
Sorry, Tim, I missed that.
the quality of the product.
Right, and that's kind of where we're coming at this angle from, right? If fish are happy, typically fish are healthy, which means there's a higher quality product, which is obviously what every fish farmer globally is looking to accomplish and achieve with their systems, regardless of whether it's net pen or RAS. And so we're interested in this idea of what makes for happy fish and what makes for healthy fish, and knowing that results in the greatest quality output that a fish farm can output. Lombardo, did you want to comment on that?
Just a quick comment. It's a cycle. If we grow the fish happy, we will have a fish which will taste better. So we also be happier because we will be eating a high quality protein